to Your Wise Self with Sarah, the podcast that invites you to embark on a journey of self-discovery, growth, and transformation. Thank you for joining me, Sarah, as I explore the profound wisdom within each of us waiting to be uncovered and embraced. In today's episode, The Healing Power of Acupuncture, Restoring Balance from the Inside Out, we are diving into the subtle and powerful world of healing through acupuncture, where ancient wisdom meets modern women's health. I'm joined by Lindsey a licensed acupuncturist and founder of Acupuncture and Aesthetics. Lindsey specializes in women's health and is located in Iowa, but also doing services in Minnesota. Welcome, Lindsey.
Hi, Sarah. Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very passionate about the topic and healing behind acupuncture, but also a big fan of you and the fact that you provide this beautiful service, women's health, right here in Iowa and Minnesota. If you wouldn't mind sharing just a little bit more about yourself.
I'm a licensed acupuncturist. I've been practicing for over 15 years. I began my practice treating all types of conditions, which acupuncture is great for. I evolved into specializing in women's health, and that is something I'm really passionate about. And I also do a lot of cosmetic acupuncture and emotional balance.
As women, we can especially utilize that emotional balance. This has been a number of years ago now because unfortunately we lived close together and now we don't live so close together. I was experiencing a lot of pain in my left shoulder. It was to the point where it was fairly debilitating. I wasn't able to lift weights. I wasn't able to function and it was hard to sleep. I came in and had one session with you and I have not had the shoulder pain on my left side of my body since then. That is really, for me, a testament to the power of acupuncture and the fact that you truly can help women on their healing journey, because I know a lot of that pain was emotionally based. So I know we're going to get into that today. We're going to talk about how acupuncture really helps women emotionally heal, physically heal. So what called you into the healing arts and ultimately led you to acupuncture?
I grew up with parents who had jobs serving others. My mom was a nurse. My dad is a therapist. I saw how much empathy, kindness, and respect they gave to people they worked with. I knew I wanted to do something where I could bring those aspects into my work, but I had to find my own path. In that process, I was able to be an assistant to an acupuncturist in Iowa. I saw firsthand how traditional Chinese medicine could effectively treat a wide range of conditions. Patients were reporting significant improvements, and I was seeing an overall sense of well-being with them. Something that was unique in that experience for me as an assistant was there's an ancient tool in Chinese medicine called moxa, where you hold heat next to the patient. The acupuncturist trained me to hold the heat next to them. The length of time that I did that for, she had me just say in my head, it was a healing meditation for the patient. When I was doing that, I could feel the energy shift in the room. For me, that really opened up my eyes to the idea that I could create a safe place for people to be vulnerable, seen, and to heal. That was something where I was able to see how I could bring those aspects of empathy and caring into my own practice. Another thing that really drew me to acupuncture itself was not only is it clinically effective, but there is something so special about how acupuncture is just so gentle. I came across a quote one time by a Chinese philosopher that says something to the effect of, water is soft and yielding, yet it penetrates mountains and earth. To me, that's really what acupuncture is like. It is so gentle and it allows people to rest, to be met with compassion, and to heal in a way that is powerful and subtle. And so it's those things that align my values to traditional Chinese medicine.
I really appreciate what you're saying about it being so powerful in terms of compassion, healing, empathy, and being able to also balance all of that with that clinical aspect. Acupuncture has withstood many tests, trials, and studies, so we know it's effective. We know that it does give healing benefits to people. And it's interesting you talked about moksha too, and I got to experience that when I was in India with Tibetan medicine. That was one of their healing modalities, and it was just amazing to witness how the different Eastern medicine philosophies impact people's health. They don't have to take a prescription. Perhaps it's helping helping them avoid a surgery or other invasive procedures. It's gentle and they can rest in that space and experience the healing. Going back to what you were saying about setting the intention of focusing on that patient and their healing, and that you were able to create that opportunity for them. If we look at it from that treatment of symptoms to addressing root causes, tell us a little bit more about how acupuncture helps with that shift.
In traditional Chinese medicine, we talk about treating the root and the branch. The branch is your symptoms like anxiety, fatigue, or painful periods. The root is what's causing them, maybe hormonal imbalance, stress, or energy depletion. Chinese medicine looks at the body as a whole. For example, if you're having painful periods, we might use points to ease the cramps right away. That's treating the branch. But then we are also working on balancing your hormones and improving circulation to the uterus, and that's treating the root. And so in that way, we're not just masking symptoms, but trying to heal the whole body.
I don't want to ever put down Western medicine because I know that we need Western medicine also, but I appreciate the philosophy behind Eastern medicine of going in and looking at those root causes and the branches and how you explain the symptoms and the causes being a critical piece rather than just putting a Band-Aid over it or covering it up with some kind of medication. And yet we need medications, we need surgeries, we need all those things. But this gives people an option, taking us from there into what exactly is happening in the body when those needles are placed, Lindsey.
Yes, so there are two perspectives to consider. One is the classical perspective, which is traditional Chinese medicine, in that there is a substance called qi or energy that flows through the body throughout different pathways called meridians. If that pathway is blocked or deficient, then acupuncture needles will help to balance that. From a modern biological perspective, acupuncture is also stimulating the body to balance itself through complex neural pathways that affect the immune system, the nervous system, and the inflammatory process. Acupuncture also stimulates your body's ability to relieve pain by releasing endorphins. This is why people find treatments to be so relaxing. People are always worried, is this going to hurt? But we're releasing those endorphins and people usually leave feeling much more rejuvenated after their treatment.
We talk about in yoga the upward flow and the downward flow of energy. When I picture you placing the needles and what you're talking about, the qi and the meridians and opening blockages, it almost feels like a river with a dam being removed, at the river getting to open, and that flow gets to happen again without all those blockages or places of stuckness. Does that resonate?
Yes.
What are some of the common health issues that people might be surprised to find relief from with acupuncture?
I think people are often surprised how many things acupuncture can help with beyond pain. It's very well known for that and it does a great job with that. I also have patients get relief from anxiety, digestive issues, insomnia, allergies, even hormonal acne. One of the biggest ones would be emotional health. I have seen so much success with this in my clinic. Acupuncture helps to regulate the nervous system, which affects everything. So from sleep to how we process stress or balancing hormones. So that is a big one. I think another surprise for many women is how effective acupuncture is for menstrual cycle issues, fertility support, perimenopause symptoms. A lot of things that we are told are just normal or unavoidable, acupuncture gives the body space to reset and function smoothly. And that affects a lot more areas of health than most people would expect.
Interestingly, it seems like, at least at my age, I'm going to be 48 this year, and it just feels like emotional issues, anxiety, sleeplessness, these are all things that are impacting women my age and beyond. We're also going through perimenopause. But the point being with all of that is that you're going to have women out there that might be thinking, oh, I've tried everything. And you might have women out there that are thinking, I want to get on top of this and I want to be more preventative with this. Where are women at in their journey when they find you?
I think there's more advocacy for women's health, especially in perimenopause symptoms and during those stages. and we're becoming more aware of those things. So I definitely am getting more people on that preventative side, trying to work on that as they go through it versus coming from a place where they're so uncomfortable.
That makes great sense. And having you share with people that they can come see you before they get into the thick of these issues and really educate women on how this can help them. Let's get into a little bit more about resetting the nervous system. You talked about how acupuncture plays a role in emotional healing and anxiety. One of the ways I always remember this is the sympathetic nervous system. There's not a lot of sympathy. That's when you are in fight or flight. Parasympathetic is when it's helping you move into that rest and digest. Acupuncture can work with the nervous system, stress regulation, hormone balance, digestion, and chronic conditions. Share a little bit more with the audience, Lindsey, about how acupuncture helps with that nervous system healing.
In Chinese medicine, healing happens when the body is in a state of balance or homeostasis. And that aligns closely with what we understand as the parasympathetic nervous system or our rest and digest state. Acupuncture helps to guide the body into that state where blood flow improves, digestion works better, the immune system is actually doing its job. And it is in the parasympathetic state that real repair and restoration can take place. So essentially, we're inviting the body to do what it naturally knows how to do and heal.
The body does know how to heal. And oftentimes, because we have so many layers, it can be anything from emotions to trauma to experiencing multiple symptoms. There's just so many factors involved in that. But at the end of the day, what you're saying is the body knows how to heal. And sometimes it just needs a little bit of guidance. Acupuncture is like a deep exhale. Can you share how this work supports emotional resilience and healing and why rest and slowness and subtle energy shifts really matter, especially for women?
I think this topic is so important. It's truly why I ended up shifting my practice into specializing in women's health and why I'm so passionate about treating women. In Chinese medicine, we are taught to treat the Shen first. The Shen is the heart. And women today carry so much. We're trying so hard to manage it all. We're told we just have to push through and that self-care and rest are luxuries. But Sarah, they're truly essential to our well-being. Traditional Chinese medicine really values what we call the yin energy, which is nourishing, still, and deeply restorative. So when women come to see me, it's important for me to create a space where they're safe to be vulnerable, to be heard, and to trust their intuition, a space to slow their pace, connect with themselves, and to rest. They don't have to fight this battle. They can come and let me do the work. I will place the needles that will balance their hormones and regulate their nervous system, and they can truly just rest. When they leave my office, they're feeling more rejuvenated and ready to get back out into the world. And it's these subtle shifts that help them feel lighter, more grounded, more like themselves. Over time, they're responding to life more clearly with steadiness and in a way that aligns. It's these subtle shifts that help them to feel lighter, more grounded, and more like themselves. Over time, they'll respond to life with more clarity and steadiness. And in that way, they're more in line with their values, and that will overflow into every aspect of their lives.
It's so interesting, Lindsey, because everything you are saying aligns with exactly why I want women to hear these messages, because things that have been created over time from our childhood, from our marriages, from having children, and that shift and that change, I don't think that women recognize the power of what changes in them when they have a baby. And then again, as we age and we go into perimenopause and menopause, in the past, it's been, this is just typical. This is what happens. Deal with it. I think it's getting more widely accepted, like mental health and other aspects of health, to talk about it and say it might be typical that women have symptoms in perimenopause, for example, but there are ways for women to feel their best. In the end, everything you are saying is so in alignment with what women's health ultimately needs. Is we need healers like yourself. And you go beyond health. And this is an aspect of health, but you also do facial acupuncture, which is so fascinating. And I own a Gua Sha, a little tool that you could use for lymphatic drainage. Tell us more about the Gua Sha and the benefits.
There's quite a few things within traditional Chinese medicine that you can do at home. When I am doing cosmetic acupuncture, I like to combine a lot of these treatments. When I'm talking about cosmetic facial acupuncture, it's a natural, holistic way to support your skin as it ages. We use these tiny needles on your face, needles in the body, boosting circulation, stimulating collagen, and addressing root causes of aging like stress and hormone balance. I also, to combine it with the Gua Sha, that's another one of my favorites. It is a gentle scraping technique that releases muscle tension. It helps with lymphatic drainage and it gives a healthy, lifted look to the skin. Another thing I like to combine, and that you can also do at home, is facial cupping. It's very relaxing. It helps lift the skin also. It reduces puffiness, moves the lymph, but it increases blood flow. And that really gives you that really nice glow to your face.
Nice. You know, what's funny is I have little facial cups, probably because of you, because you probably told me to get them. And I'm just sitting here going, hey, I think those are in my drawer. I need to pull those out and do that. It sounds like facial acupuncture also is an alternative to maybe some more invasive things that women are doing, like getting Botox, getting fillers, that type of thing. Can you speak to that a little bit about how that benefits them?
Yeah. So I'm all for women doing whatever works for them. I do think that this is a really great alternative. Some women just, that's not something they want to do, or they're not ready to take that step. Botox is really common now, but this is a good alternative, and it's building your own collagen back. What you're trying to do with Botox is what we're actually doing internally, that is bringing that back to fill in those areas that you're wanting to just release some of those wrinkles and fine lines.
Yeah, that's so fun. And at the same time, getting the relaxation benefit too. It's like a little bit of a spa type of feeling where you can get a little bit of self-care, that relaxation time. So you talk about how health and skin are combined, which totally makes sense, right? We know that a lot of people can have an allergy to milk, for example, and it might show up as acne. So we know that there's an internal health that is reflected through our skin. How do you approach skincare through that lens of acupuncture?
So in traditional Chinese medicine, the skin, we think of it really as a mirror of what's going on in the body. It reflects the health of our organs, circulation, digestion, emotional balance, and our qi and blood. Anti-aging is not just about appearance. It's about preserving vitality from the inside out. So we look at anti-aging as a process of declining qi, blood, and kidney essence, which is the deep foundational energy we're born with and that declines over time. It influences hormonal health, bone health, skin elasticity, and how we handle stress over time. Because we're always working to nourish that kidney essence, we're supporting long-term vitality. That's not just this temporary glow. My goal isn't to stop aging, it's to age well with radiance, resilience, and inner balance.
Absolutely. Long-term vitality. And I just was having this conversation recently with a couple of women that I coach, and we were talking about aging gracefully. It's not that we can avoid it. We can't stop time. We're going to age, but how can we age in the best way possible so that we feel that we're aging gracefully and with more ease rather than feeling overwhelmed? This, again, offers an opportunity to balance health, to heal, and to be in the presence of someone like you who is a healer, bringing the intention to the session with them. What's one piece of guidance you'd offer someone curious but unsure about trying acupuncture?
I would tell them to trust their intuition. With someone that I treat thanks me for their healing experience, I'm like, you did that. You listened when you felt like something was off. You trusted yourself. You made the first appointment. You showed up, even when it felt vulnerable. And really, I just help guide that process. But I believe that trusting your intuition is where healing begins.
You might have helped with the modality, you might have helped with the process, but ultimately they were open to the healing. Therefore, it happened because their body is made to heal itself. That is a really powerful way to look at it. What final thoughts on trusting your body and the power of integrative healing would you have with the audience today?
I think this is especially important for women. We are often told to override our instincts, push past the fatigue, and silence our emotions. Trusting your body means reconnecting with your inner wisdom. Traditional Chinese medicine requires you to listen to your body, and then for me to listen to you. It helps us rebuild trust with our bodies because it reminds us that our intuition is essential. I feel so connected to Chinese medicine because it offers women a way to care for themselves that feels more intuitive, more connected, and truly more sustainable.
That is such a beautiful way to end our time together today of really honing back in on the power and wisdom of our own bodies. Lindsey, this has been so wonderful to have you here today. You have a lovely website that people can check out called acupuncture-aesthetics, which I'll make sure I put in the show notes. Get a consultation, get a session, whatever they want to do.
I have a lot of different services that you can view there. If you have any questions, you're free to email me, call me. I'm happy to communicate with you.
So the best way to reach you is via email or phone call, and all that's on your website. Is that correct?
Yes.
Amazing. Thank you so much for being here today, Lindsey.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. And thank you again for putting your healing out into the world, but also being willing to share about it here in this space. I think it's so important for women to hear from other women about how they can tune into their wisdom, tune into their intuition, get stronger, heal their bodies. You are making a huge impact on the world, so keep it up. Thank you for being here. What a nourishing conversation with Lindsey. I hope you felt the calm, the clarity, and the possibility that this kind of healing offers. If you're curious about working with Lindsey or simply want to learn more, check out her practice, Acupuncture and Aesthetics. I'll include the link in the show notes. And as always, if this episode resonated with you, please share it with a friend, leave a review, or tag us on social. Women are waking up to their own wisdom, and your voice helps light the way. Until next time, be good to you.